New video in from Moscow this morning. Streets, shops expected to be much quieter. Much of it closed as of tomorrow. Russia's capital is going into lockdown to try to deal with a major surge in COVID cases. Across the country this morning, Russia is reporting more than 36,000 new cases. It's also hit a new high for COVID deaths for the second day in a row. More than 1,100 deaths in the last 24 hours. So we take you live to Moscow now, and our Moscow correspondent, Briar Stewart, who is at a testing and vaccination site. And Briar, good to see you live. What a backdrop for us live in Moscow. Tell us about that place and what the scene is there today.
Yes, good morning, Heather. Where I am, it's a very large food hall, in fact, one of the largest in Europe, about 11,000 square feet. And tomorrow it's going to be empty because this is one of the places that will be closed because of these new restrictions. But the second floor here, it's going to stay open. And that's where there's a vaccination site and also a testing site. So let me just show you a bit of a tour here. We'll just try to navigate around the people. And in fact, it's actually gotten busier today. Moscow officials say they have seen an uptick in the number of people getting vaccinated. So people have been coming here, filling out their forms, getting their first, second, or even third shot, because in Russia here, everybody is eligible for a booster right now. And if we just go around this pillar here, there's some express testing going on. So people can come in, can get a quick rapid test. If they test positive, they're then given a PCR test on the spot. Now, this is one of the new sites that have been set up in Moscow. There were 30 of them, and city officials have just announced that they're going to be adding 20 more because they say of all the cases coming in, or all the people coming in to get tested, they're catching about 5% of the people that have COVID. So they really want to increase testing. And of course, this is because the coronavirus is spreading so rapidly in all of Russia at the moment. There are nearly 270,000 people in hospital right now. That's putting an enormous strain on the healthcare system. And as you mentioned there, I mean, the deaths have kept rising. They're setting new records. And in a lot of places, particularly outside of the major cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, hospitals are really struggling. They're having to call in medical students to help, putting beds wherever there's space. In fact, in Kaliningrad, they're going to start putting beds in the hospital canteen because the situation is so serious. And that's why there's talk of more restrictions and, of course, more testing.
And the lockdown tomorrow, Briar, if you could tell us some more detail about what comes into effect and some of the other new restrictions that people in that city will have to deal with.
So in Moscow, it's going to be a partial lockdown. So restaurants, cafes, they'll be closed for in-person dining, only open for takeout. School is going to be canceled. But there are other things that are going to stay open. For instance, museums and theaters will be open, operating at 50% capacity and only for people with a vaccine QR code. But it's not, like a total shutdown. And every region in Russia is implementing their own restrictions. So for instance, some are having vaccine passports. There's even one that is introducing an overnight curfew where people can't leave their homes. But it's really kind of a mixed match of measures across the country because regions are taking the lead on this. There is a non-working week declared in Russia next week, so people basically have a paid vacation from work, and officials are really pleading with people to try to limit their contacts so the cases can be brought down.
Briar Stewart, thank you very much for that. Live in Moscow with our correspondent from Russia.